I am ready for lesson 2 of module 14. Juno is joining us for math today because he is very sleepy and cuddly right now. And so I have this comfy yellow chair that I sit in at my desk, and sometimes Juno likes to cuddle in it, huh? So he's gonna join us for math today. So go grab your math workbooks and open up to page 389. The title of the lesson is Partition Shapes into Equal Areas. So again, this whole module is just about relating fractions and area. So our I can statement, the blue bubble, it says I can divide shapes into parts with equal areas and write each equal part as a fraction. So remember with yesterday's lesson, we talked about how the most important thing about fractions is that the parts are equal to each other. And we discovered that if you have, like a rectangle, you might have the rectangle divided into really wonky looking shapes, but those shapes are actually covering the same area, so they are equal to each other. So you could write a fraction to show each of those parts. So pretty neat. So let's go ahead and do our Spark Your Learning activity. It says, Mia designs a playground. She plans to divide it into 4 parts with equal areas. So far, Mia has found one way to divide the playground. Show another way to divide the playground. Explain how you know that the 4 parts of your plan are equal in area. Juno's saying goodbye. Okay, so we have Mia's plan right here divided into the 4 equal areas. So if we want to show a different way to draw this, oh, sorry, I'm gonna fix that a little bit. I need to know the area of each of these parts. So I'm going to count 1, 2, and then that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so 14 across, 2 down. This is a multiplication equation. So remember how multiplication and area are related? Well, we can use that when we talk about fractions as well. So 2 times 14 equals 28. So the area of this rectangle and all the others in each part of the playground is going to be 28 unit squares. So then I just need to divide this playground. Okay, it says my plan. Explain how you know that, or show another way to divide the playground. So I need to show another way. Instead of dividing horizontally, what could I do? Well, there's a lot of different things I can do, but the most important thing that I need to remember is that it is equal to 28 square units or unit squares. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I'm going to count across, and this is the same as Mia's plan, and so I already know that there is 14 units across, and half of 14 is 7, so I'm going to just cut this right in half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and draw a line. Okay, so that's half. Then I'm going to take this number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and divide that in half, and that would be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and divide it that way. So now I have 4 parts of the playground, and I need to double check and make sure that they are equal to Mia's plan. I have a feeling that they're going to be. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across. Okay, so 4 going down, 7 across. That equals 28 unit squares. So I could count each individual unit square and get to 28, or I could use what I know about multiplication and just do count down and then count across. So number of groups, number in each group. So I have 4 parts, just like Mia's plan, and each of those parts is going to be or have an area of 28 unit squares. So this plan will work. So I answered the question. There's another way to divide it. Awesome. Okay, let's go on to the next page. All right, it says, for the build understanding, it says, how can you divide the rectangle into 6 parts with equal areas? So again, when it says to divide into 4 parts or 6 parts, I am looking for numbers that are divisible or numbers that I could divide from 6. Does that make sense? So with the 4, let's go back over here. Okay, with 4 parts, 4 is divisible by 2, and that's why I divided it in half into 2 parts, because I knew that I would end up with an equal area. So with 6, I am thinking, okay, what number is 6 divisible by, or what 2 factors can I multiply together to get 6? And right off the bat, I'm thinking 2 times 3. So I'm going to start with 2 and make 2 parts. So I'm going to count across here because I want to be exact. And so I'm going to count out how many unit squares I have across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I'm going to split this in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Draw my line. Okay, so now I have 2 halves. So now I'm going to divide into thirds, because remember, 2 times 3 will equal 6. And so now I'm going to do the length. So 1, 2, 3, or the height, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now I'm thinking 9 divided by 3 equals 3. And why am I dividing by 3? Because 3 times 2 equals 6, and that's how many parts I want all together. So now I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 and draw a line. 1, 2, 3, draw a line, and then that will take me to 9. And now these are exactly equal. Okay? How do I know that the parts are equal in area? Well, because I divided them in half and I counted. So each each rectangle has a height of 3 and a length of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Height of 3, length of 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 8. All of them have that same, those same dimensions. And 3 times 8 equals 24 unit squares. So they all will have an area of 24 unit squares. So that's what I would write for part A. Part B says, what fraction of the whole rectangle is each part? Now I can use a fraction because I know that every single part of this rectangle is equal to each other. So again, my bottom number is my denominator. It's the total number of equal parts in a whole. So the downstairs number, denominator, is 6 because I have 6 parts all together. And remember, the number on top, the numerator, is the number that I'm counting. And if it's each part, that means 1 part. So it'd be 1 over 6, 1/6. Okay, and number 2 says, divide the circle so that each part is 1/3 of the area of the whole shape. How can you show that each part of your circle is equal in area? So with this, we don't have a grid paper to count area. So this one, we just have to fold the circle or cut the circle into equal pieces, equal sizes. And so if it is, if I want to divide the circle so that each part is 1/3, okay, this is what I really need to focus on, is that 1/3, okay? because this is going to tell me how many pieces are all together, 3. So I need to divide this circle into 3 equal parts so that each part represents 1 piece of the whole circle. So for circles and thirds, the easiest thing for me to do is to do an upside down Y. And so, or like the peace sign. And so I go do a straight line down to about the middle. And then I just try to kick out as best I can. So it's an upside down Y, like that. Okay. And I know that these are equal pieces because if I were to cut out each piece or each slice and lay them on top of each other, it would be, they would all be the same. Okay, just like we did with the trapezoids yesterday. We cut out the pieces of the trapezoid, laid them on top of each other, and showed that there was no extra space given. So that's what I would write down here. I would say each piece is 1/3 of the circle because I made my lines very exact. If I were to cut it out and lay the pieces on top of each other, they would all be the same. There would be none left over. All right, next page, page 391. Number 3, it says, Angela and Pedro divide rectangles into 8 equal parts, but in different ways. Both rectangles are the same size and shape. Okay, so here we have Angela's way and Pedro's way. So Angela drew lines vertically, Pedro drew lines horizontally. Part A asks, do the parts from Angela's rectangle have the same shape as the parts from Pedro's rectangle? Explain. Same shape. Am I asking for the same area? No, I'm asking for the same shape. Are these the same shape? And the answer is no. Yes, they're both rectangles, but the type of rectangle are different. So no, Angela's rectangles are shorter and thicker. Pedro's rectangles are thinner and longer. So no, and then you'd write that all out. Angela's are short and wide. Pedro's are long and thin. So then part B says, who divided the rectangle into parts that are greater in area? So this is the part that you have to be very careful. Into parts that are greater in area. Now, even though they are divided into different, orientations, so like vertical versus horizontal, they are still 8 parts of the same rectangle. So neither of them will be greater than the other. So that's what you're gonna write. Neither of them. They are both the same size rectangle divided, hold on, I'm writing, divided into 8 equal parts. So that's the big key, is that they are both, it's the same rectangle divided into 8 pieces. So no matter if it's vertical or horizontal, there's 8 of them, they're equal to each other. So Angela's would be equal to Pedro's. Divided into 8 equal pieces. Okay? Feeling okay so far? All right, check understanding. Number 1, it says, what fraction of the total area of the circle does each equal part represent? So, again, we're looking at each equal part. How many pieces are in the total circle? There are 4, so that goes on the bottom. So each of them would be 1 piece of the 4, and so it would be 1 over 4. Number 2, Nora and Nick cut felt squares to make 6 equal-sized patches. Nick wants his patches to have a different shape, but the same area as Nora's patches. Hi, Juno. Draw lines to show how they can cut each of the felt squares. So Nora and Nick have the same felt square that they need to divide into 6 patches. They want to be equal to each other. So one thing I could do for Nora, we could divide in half. Again, 6, I'm thinking of ways to make 6, and that's 2 times 3. So I could go like this and be as exact as I can, and that would give me 6 patches. And then Nick's would also want to be 6 equal patches, but different shape than Nora. So maybe I would draw just all horizontal lines, or excuse me, all horizontal lines, they go that way, or all vertical lines. So I'm gonna do vertical lines going up and down, and I'm just gonna eyeball it, be as close as possible, draw 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to create 5 equal patches. So now if I were using a pencil, I would erase these lines right here because they're a little bit too wide, and then it forced the last one to be a little bit too skinny. And so be very careful when you're doing this. Make sure that they are as exact as possible. But yeah, so those are 2 different ways to show 6 equal parts. Okay. Last page, it says, on your own, construct arguments. So it says, Glenn says he can divide the 6-sided shape into 3 parts with equal areas. Emily says she can divide the shape into 6 parts with equal areas. Whose statement is correct? Draw to explain. Okay, so Glenn is saying that he can divide the 6-sided shape into 3 parts with equal areas. Okay, so let's see if this can be true. So with hexagons, octagons, things like that, I kind of treat them like they're circles. And so if we're going to do 3 parts, the same way where I would draw like the upside down Y or the peace sign in a circle, I'm going to do that for the hexagon. So, but I'm going to start in the corner, and I'm just going to go diagonally down. I'm going to follow the dots because they're going to be my guide, and I'm going to go to that middle dot, and then I'm going to kick out over to the left, and then I'm going to kick out over here to the corner. Okay, so I'm going corner to corner to corner. Now these are 3 equal parts. If we count the dots, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all the same area. Okay, they cover the same space. So Glenn is right. Glenn is correct. You can divide the 6-sided shape into 3 parts with equal areas. Now let's see if Emily is correct. Emily is saying that we can divide the shape into 6 parts with equal areas. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with Glenn's hexagon, and I'm just going to double it because 3, if I did 3 groups like this and then doubled it, that would give me 6 because 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm just going to do the same thing, diagonal line to the center, straight across to the left corner, and then down to the other corner. Now I'm going to take each of those 3 sections and divide them into half. So I'm going to start in the center and go to the corners that have not been drawn into yet. Just dividing them all in half, like that. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas, and they are all equal. They look like triangles. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Those are all equal parts. So Emily is also correct. So if you drew that and you said that they are both correct, then you nailed it. Good job. All right, number 4, it says, divide the shape into 6 equal parts. How do you know that you divided your shape into 6 equal parts? Okay, so here's my shape. It's a rectangle. again, 6 equal parts. I could do vertical lines, I could do a line in the middle and 3. There's lots of different options. So I'm gonna see what the length of my shape is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so since the length is 8, I think it's gonna be easier to split that in half, because 8 is not divisible by 6, and so, but it is divisible by 2. And so I'm going to just split it right in half. 1, 2, 3, 4. Split it in half. And the reason I'm being so concerned about if the numbers are divisible by 2 or 3 or 6 is because that is going to tell me if the parts are equal or not. And so that's what I mean when I say that. So now let's count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is divisible by 3. 6 divided by 3 equals 2. So the length of each of these 3 pieces is going to be 2 unit squares. That was a lot. Okay, so 1, 2, draw across. 1, 2, draw across. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that gave me my 6 equal pieces. Yay! It asks, how do you know that you divided your shape into six equal parts? Well, you could count the area of each part and they would all be the same. It would all be 2 by 4, which is 2 times 4 is 8. So I did the height times the length. 2 times 4 is 8. So the area is 8. And that goes for all of them. So you write that down. Okay, use the shapes for 5 through 6. Shade 1/4 of the shape on the left. Okay, this is the one on the left. It's divided into 4 equal parts and it wants me to shade 1/4 of it. So the numerator tells me how many I'm counting. I'm counting 1. So I'm going to take 1 part and shade it. It doesn't matter which part as long as it's only 1. Ta-da! Number 6, is there another way to divide the shape into 4 equal parts? If yes, draw lines on the shape on the right to show a way. Shade the shape to show 1/4. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Shade the shape to show. Okay, so this is a square. It's on its on its point, and so it kind of looks like a rhombus or a diamond, but it is indeed a square. So since it's a square, I can just write, I could do lines parallel to the edges. So I could just go bam, 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 or I could go this way, dun, 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 like that. So what I'm gonna do, I feel like going this way. 1, 2, 3. There we go, we did it. We did the best we could. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes, there is another way to divide that into fourths. There usually is always a way. If yes, draw lines on the shape on the right to show a way. Nailed it. Then shade the shape to show 1/4. So again, there are 4 pieces. That's what the denominator tells me, the bottom number. The numerator, the number on top, tells me how many we're counting. We're counting 1. So I'm going to take 1 equal part and shade it. Color it in. Again, it doesn't matter which one as long as it is only 1. Ta-da! 1/4 and 1/4. Okay, bonus. Is this 1/4 equal to this 1/4? The answer is yes. They are equal to each other, because it's the same whole divided into the same number of parts. So even though they look different, same shape, same whole, I should say, same whole divided into the same number of equal parts. So they are equal to each other. So neat. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this lesson and had lots of fun and didn't fall asleep like Juno did. Good luck on your homework. I'm sure you're going to be great. This lesson is shorter than I thought. The last lesson will be tomorrow, and then you'll have the practice test on Monday. So super quick, super exciting. Good luck, and let me know if you need anything. Love your guts. Bye.